Growing up watching the iconic movie of James Cameron, Titanic, we were all hard-touched by the great RMS Titanic and its drastic story. The movie was a mix of historical events, adventure, and romance, but for most of us, it was more than just a movie. It created a thirst in our hearts to learn more about the gigantic Titanic, which left Southampton to reach New York City but was never successful. The ship sank on 15th April 1912 in the vast North Atlantic Ocean after colliding with an iceberg. About 1,500 people died on this voyage, making it one of the most significant events in the history of mankind. Considered the largest ship on the planet, the Titanic was taking on board with her about 2,200 passengers. But on the night of 15th April, she vanished into the sea, taking along hundreds of lives. This event surely lives in the hearts of millions of people globally. Even after a whole century, some enthusiasts wanted to watch the wrecks of this ship deep down in the ocean. On 18th June 2023, Titan, a submersible which was operated by the American tourism and expedition company OceanGate, was lost in the ocean, carrying 5 people to the depths of the ocean to watch the Titanic with their own eyes, but unfortunately, none of them ever came back. We'll cover the complete story of the Titan submarine, which imploded underwater during its expedition to view the wreckage of Titanic, resulting in the passing of 5 souls. The event became a nightmare for enthusiasts who wanted to watch the Titanic live. The terrifying last minute of the Titan submarine was one of the most haunting moments you will ever hear about. The shipwreck of Titanic lies about 600 kilometers southeast of the Newfoundland, Canada, at the seabed of the North Atlantic Ocean, making it extremely tough to be taken out. However, to get a glimpse of it, the Titan submersible was made to carry out exploration deep down in the ocean. Richard Stockton Rush was one of those enthusiasts who wanted to see this shipwreck up close in the ocean. With expertise and academic background in ocean studies, he founded the OceanGate expedition in 2009. He served as the CEO of the company and was majorly responsible for the technical and financial duties of the company. He also founded a non-profit organization known as OceanGate Foundation, which was mainly involved in marine science studies. Titan Submersible was one of the main reasons behind the success of OceanGate. All of us know him for that. His goal was to take mysterious adventures in the vastness of the oceans, as much of the ocean's depths were never seen by human beings. And what was more exciting than watching the great RMS Titanic thousands of feet under the water's surface? So, the expeditions to the shipwreck of Titanic began in 2021. Well, everybody didn't have the financial resources or the courage to go 13,000 feet below water, where there is no light. Only the true lovers of Titanic availed of this opportunity. Yet, to fulfill your dream, you'd have to pay about $250,000. A huge amount, isn't it? But for Richard Stockton, that wasn't a problem. With immense wealth and knowledge about the expedition, he was always ready to do it. If there was anyone who knew the risks of this expedition, it was him. If he was ready, the others would blindly trust him. But who were the other 4 people who lost their lives on this expedition? Hamish Harding was the next person who was on his death trip. To afford this type of price tag, it's obvious that Hamish Harding was a wealthy man. He was a British businessman and a pilot who shared the same passion as the other 4 people on the Titanic. Hamish was an adventure enthusiast, and watching the Titanic from his own eyes seemed an alluring idea for him. He had studied natural science and chemical engineering at Cambridge, London. Most importantly, he was a well-known individual in the aviation industry due to his immense success as a pilot. During his lifetime, he was awarded numerous prizes due to his achievements as a pilot. May it be the skies or the white desert, or you can say the Antarctica, he explored almost every part of the world and was known for his dangerous expeditions. He was also a part of a club of brave explorers. Not only this, in 2019, Hamish was awarded for completing the fastest circumnavigation of Earth, along with 8 astronauts on board. He completed the trip in only 46 hours, 40 minutes and 22 seconds. After the skies and deserts, Hamish was now interested in exploring the oceans, and he carried out many expeditions of the sea in 2021. He went to the deepest point of the Mariana Trench, about 36,000 feet below the surface of the Earth, almost 3 times more than where the Titanic is situated. One thing is clear, it was not the riskiest trip for Hamish, but it was the most unfortunate trip for him. So these were 2 people on board, but who were the other 3? Next on this trip was the commander of the French Navy deep-sea explorers, Paul-Henri Nargeolet. He had tremendous knowledge about the Titanic, and he was considered an expert on Titanic and its wreckage. Paul was also highly qualified as an individual with extensive knowledge of the sea, and thus he perfectly knew what he was signing up for, as he already served as the director of underwater research at the Royal Marine ship Titanic. Many parts of his life were dedicated to learning and exploring the Titanic. He already visited the Titanic wreckage site 37 times before his last deadly trip. You can say that he was one of the best guides for the ship's wreckage. I know what you're thinking about. Who took out the artifacts of the Titanic? Well, if such a big ship sank, there must be so much to take out, right? Paul was the man who took it out for us. He was known for bringing some of the first artifacts of Titanic from the surface of the sea in 1985. This is one of the main reasons why he was super confident in going down to see the Titanic once again. It was more like a trip to the beach for him. Going down so many dozens of times gives you that confidence, but little did he have an idea about his death near the Titanic. If there was anyone on board with no experience of the scariness of the sea, it was Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son Suleiman Dawood, who accompanied his father to the last trip of their life. Dawood came from one of the wealthiest families in Pakistan. Although these two didn't have much idea about the expedition, they had the courage and resources to share the trip. All of these 5 members of the expedition began their journey on 18th June 2023. The trip started at 8 a.m., although it was planned to start at 4 a.m. that day. The journey to the Titanic was only 2 hours, but at 9:45 a.m., the surface ship lost contact with Titan submersible, and it was a huge blow for the people on the surface as such an event was very unusual to occur. According to the US Coast Guard, the Titan was supposed to come back to the surface by 3 p.m. Panic started when a day passed by and there was no sign of the Titan. Canadian and US aircraft and ships started their search operation using sonars to locate the submersible, as it was the wreck site of the Titanic. There were no use of sonars because those metal pieces under the water were hampering the research process of the experts. On 20th June 2023, France joined the mission to find the submersible, and they deployed Atalante for the purpose. Meanwhile, Canadian aircraft was also using their resources to locate the submarine by using sound. 2 days went by and there was no sign of the submarine. The oxygen backup of the Titan submersible was only for 96 hours. It was an alarming situation for the research team as they had very little time to report the incident. On 21st June, the US Navy Coast Guard, Canadian Coast Guard and OceanGate started the expeditions to find Titan. Private companies, Royal Navies and whatnot. It was one of the biggest international search operations and the clock was ticking fast. The research operation was a mixture of aerial operation and remotely operated vehicles, but no positive results were found. US Coast Guard officials said, "This is a search and resume mission 100%. We are smack dab in the middle of the search and rescue, and we'll continue to put every available asset that we have in the effort to find the Titan and the crew members. The oxygen, that's just the one piece of data, but that's not the only important thing. Sometimes you're in a position where you have to make a tough decision, but we're not there yet. If we continue to search, potentially we could be at that point. That's a discussion that we'll have with the families long before I'm going to discuss that in public." With these statements of the officials, it was obvious that they were losing hope and the families had to be informed about the situation. But it was not only the families of the members who were eagerly waiting for the response, but the whole world was praying for the souls. The news went over the internet like a fire, and it was everywhere. People shared tweets and posts for the members, and everyone was waiting for an update from the rescue teams. It was now 22nd June, 4 days passed by now, and there was little but no hope of finding the members alive. It was a very crucial day. It was now or never for the search teams. They had to pull all their resources in line to find the missing submersible in the depths of the ocean. As the expected oxygen of the Titan was on the brink of running out, 2 remotely operated search vehicles were sent down. It was at 11:48 a.m. when the US Coast Guard confirmed the debris near the wreckage of Titanic via the remotely operated vehicle, and it was now confirmed that the members on board were dead. It was said that the members of Titan died from a drastic implosion, killing all members instantly. The officials said, "The debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the pressure chamber." Upon these determinations, we immediately notified the families on behalf of the United Nations Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that the discovery provides some solace during the difficult time. People all over the world mourned the tragic event. Communities, families, and rescue officials didn't lose hope for 4 days and kept praying for positive news, but now it was confirmed that this expedition was the last for all the 5 members on board. The loss of a 19-year-old boy was the most hurtful, as he was scared of going for the expedition, but did it for his father, who was an enthusiast of going down to see the Titanic. Shahzad Dawood's sister said, "He wasn't up for it and felt very terrified to explore the wreckage of Titanic." It was their love for Titanic that brought all of them to such an unfortunate conclusion. But what exactly caused their death? The water pressure at 13,000 feet below the surface is surely beyond the imagination of an ordinary person. The immense water pressure at the depth was the reason that the hull of the Titan collapsed, killing the people inside instantly. Many international agencies closely investigated the incident to find more details about it. Although the wreckage of the Titan submersible was recovered from the sea, still there was no clear evidence of what exactly happened down there. Expertise is required to fully understand this incident, and this might take some time. As many other lives depend on it, understanding the cause of the incident is super important, as it will stop such events from occurring in the future. One of the risks of diving down to the Titanic shipwreck was implosion, but it was the worst possible outcome, and that's exactly what happened down there. Many reports say that OceanGate had several mechanical issues in the past, and many customers filed a lawsuit against the company, stating that they displayed a very optimistic picture of the trip, but wasn't similar when they experienced it. Experts already warned that there were technical and mechanical issues in the Titan back in 2018, and had to go through many examinations to be fully prepared. Many people cancelled their trip due to the safety of the trip. The submersible had to undergo many extensive exercises to be fully prepared, and that's why many people were reluctant to take the trip. However, the event put a clear question mark on the safety standards of such trips and highlighted the importance of analyzing the mechanical and technical aspects of the latest technology, which seems so alluring to all of us. It was an eye-opening event and had so many lessons for the people who were planning to watch the shipwreck of Titanic or go to a similar trip shortly. Titanic is said to be one of the most famous ships in the history of mankind, and there are people out there who do anything to watch it live with their own eyes. And as fascinating as it sounds, it might be a great experience to watch more than 100 years old ship deep down in the ocean, but it has to be done keeping all the safety standards in sight. This was the story of a Titan submarine that imploded near Titanic during an expedition, killing 5 people on board. Want to know more about such tragic events, fatal incidents, and untimely deaths? Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to share your valuable feedback in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the video on Steve Irwin and how he died while shooting a documentary in the ocean and his last moments. See you soon, as more interesting content is coming your way. Thanks for watching and take care.